It's been another busy week again in AI news, so there's plenty to go over, and this is that AI generated script that I've been going over for the past 22 weeks to keep up with the news and share it to my team. So let's dive in and read it for the first time. Agents, autonomous transactions, and virtual economies. Started out this week with a look at how agents are not just coding or chatting anymore, but they're handling money. So Google introduced a new payment protocol. So the Google Agent Payment Protocol, APP, on top of their A2A, which was agent-to-agent communication. The idea is this allows agents to purchase things through merchants or other agents and be able to actually have a method to pay and buy things through their use. So you could issue an agent to go and buy you tickets, or you can have an agent that will go and then consume another agent's use and API for a certain amount of time based on that. This issue explained in great detail how an agent could autonomously reserve tickets or compare shopping prices and then buy things. And there was some way where we would need to have cryptographic proof to maintain trust and security in that model. So no one's going to want to put their credit card details into something like that without trusting it. So it's really something that needs to be sort of mapped out and planned properly. Then we talked about virtual agent economies. Google's Gemini release is one of the highlights where autonomous agents can transact and negotiate using digital currencies, potentially changing the way we view digital markets. These discussions really made me think about how far we've gone from running code to now running financial transactions. So I can probably see a future where these agents not only paying, but start bringing in crypto and have that proof of ownership and proof of chain all together and bringing something that you can then trust and have it secured. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes and how long it takes for people to accept that agent can start buying things. On the software front, AI is no longer just a helper. It's becoming a reliable team member. I watched a couple of deep dives into OpenAI's Codex that apparently can run for up to 7 hours in a test, I think they said, autonomously. So that's quite a lot of development and something can do on their own. The message is clear. It's not about writing every line by hand, but it's also that agents have to work autonomously. A demonstration of GPT Codex 5 building voice modulator or even integrating YouTube analytics was amazing. It would just build you single serving tools, which is what's been happening over these years, and these are just getting better and better. I don't know what sort of task requires 7 hours of effort to do, but there's another video I was listening to yesterday that mentioned, like, if you take that rate of change and autonomicity, or the timeline and how long it can run for, and you extrapolate it out, we would breach the heat death of the universe by 2030 with how long it could actually run for. It's never going to get to that because you'll have people in the way, people interacting, giving feedback and stopgaps. You're not going to have something that can run for trillions and trillions of years on its own. It's ridiculous. We don't have the energy to power that. Breaking down AI's technical barriers. Another theme that kept coming up was the challenge of non-determinism and the path to true AGI. In one video, ex-OpenAI CTO tackled how floating point limitations, GPU concurrency, and batch sizes influencing consistent output from large language models. So this video really went into low-level detail about how and why we get non-deterministic output, which means every time you ask a question, we get a different answer. And the reason for this is you have multiple cores operating, doing calculations, providing numbers. The cores finish at different times. They round the numbers that are resulted in different times. So when you have these really, really minute differences in these numbers, it then points to a different spot in its training model to then give you a different result. They did some tests where they could actually create reproducible outcome where they could ask a question and get the same answer every time by completely controlling the environment and how it operates to be able to provide this same output at every step along the way in these calculations, so it can create the right mathematical formula and equations every single time with the same results, which means it got the same answer to the user. So then building on that, another video took a turn towards AGI. So the benefit of having sort of these reproducible outcomes is we can test it, we understand what it's doing, and it's a bit easier to determine if something is being falsified or not, because you should be able to repeat the outcome. And if you can do that, you're in a better position. While many experts, including Demis, Hassabis, and discussing around AGI, believe that we're still far from true AGI due to limitations and the lack of continual learning and memory retention, which is true because these models are just statistical probability machines. I've said it from day one, it's a glorified autocomplete. It just gives you the next words in a sentence that it thinks you should correct. The trajectory is undeniably exciting because that's what everyone is moving towards. They are trying to go to this AGI route where these things are artificially generally intelligent, they are smart, they can learn things on their own. It's these technical discussions that remind me that even as our models get bigger and faster, there are still fundamental challenges to solve. there is definitely these challenges to solve. The models are getting better, faster, smarter, seemingly smarter every single day, but that does not mean they are going towards that AGI path. They're just getting better at what they're doing. They're getting better at predicting things that are more accurate, because we've now had 2 and a bit years, almost 3 years of ChatGPT, and we're giving signals back to it to say this is a preferred outcome. So that then goes back into its training model to give you better outcomes. It's not remembering those things, it's not learning those things, it's being built to have them inside it. Industry news and economic shifts. This week wasn't all about technical deep dives, there was plenty of fast-paced news too. A couple of roundup videos hit on the rapid innovation happening in the industry. From breakthroughs through wearable tech like alter ego silent speech, which was a AI tech which understood your internal speech before you spoke. So as you're about to speak, it would know what you were going to say without you saying it. So if you try to talk with your mouth closed or just as you're thinking what you're going to say, I think it could pick that up. Which was weird and interesting that you could actually get to that point with what it's trying to do. And then there was a big investment in Mistral, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, one of the AI foundation companies by ASML. So Mistral is French, ASML is also French. ASML is the only company in the world that is capable of fabricating the machines that NVIDIA uses to make their chips, and the TSMC, so Taiwan Semiconductor. So they're the only company in the world that makes the machines that can do that. They're, I can't remember, $500 billion machine or something. It's ridiculous. Not 500, 5 billion maybe. I don't know. It was a lot of money. But those machines are what allow everyone to build the chips that allow these models to get trained on and do things. So that's an interesting partnership. I don't know if they're going into it or trying to protect their space. One segment dissected the explosive reorganization at OpenAI with discussions around the shift to a for-profit model and the colossal 115 billion cash burn projection. And if that wasn't enough, talks around virtual agent economies where digital agents might soon use blockchain for transactions, like I mentioned earlier. Once you start bringing in payments, I don't see why you wouldn't use blockchain and crypto to make things faster and have that immutable ledger with proof of ownership, proof of payment, all locked down to an immutable state so everyone can validate it. There's a certain irony here. While innovation is accelerating, some are sounding the alarm about an AI bubble, even predicting that AI may soon take away entry-level jobs, which has been said for quite a while. Are we in a bubble? Well, there's an unprecedented amount of money getting put into the space. It's building a lot of foundational infrastructure, so it's data centers. It's not building software that isn't going somewhere. So there's a lot of data centers. Those data centers aren't going to be, these companies go bankrupt or fold up, whatever they're going to do. Other companies will go in and buy it. So it's not going to be wasted capital. Apparently the US economy is not in a recession because of the amount of money being spent on AI infrastructure and investment at the moment. And it looks like these market caps aren't slowing. They're just going to keep going for the next however long because they are generating some value. There is value being generated in this space. It's all a bit above what my actual understanding of market economics is and how governments and GDPs and all this sort of stuff works, but there is a lot of hype. It does seem like a bubble, but it also seems different to me compared to Bitcoin or whatever else there was at the time, like the dot-com bubble. Like, there is a difference here. I'm just not exactly sure how to articulate what I believe that is yet. AI, creativity, and transformative science. On a more inspirational note, Demis Hassabis of DeepMind and other thought leaders are painting a picture of a golden age of science driven by AI. In one conversation, Hassabis explained how models like Genie 3 are merging natural language with interactive 3D world creation, which could ultimately democratize creativity itself, which means anyone can then go and create 3D worlds and envisage them the way they have in their mind, which is always a challenge. Trying to explain this information and get this across to other people is always a challenge because it's hard to communicate things when you don't know how to communicate them. In another video that blew my mind entirely, apparently, AI researchers are now using AI to design new physics experiments. From uncovering non-reciprocal forces in dusty plasma to masterminding innovational gravitational wave detectors. It's clear that AI isn't just a tool for automating tasks, but it's also becoming a creative collaborator in science. Dusty plasma is apparently the dust particles that stick to things in certain environments. And then what I remember from the video was about the gravitational wave detectors. They gave AI the schematics and then allowed it to create its own things, and it introduced things from other fields that the scientists hadn't thought about. When they saw the plans, they didn't understand and thought it wouldn't work, but it actually improved the accuracy by 3 or 5%. Apparently reduced the noise reduction The noise was reduced, which improved the accuracy by 3 to 5%. And in trying to detect gravitational waves, that's a huge leap in what is possible. Not a physicist, so I loosely understand that. The changing landscape of work. Lastly, the conversation around AI's impact on jobs underscores both the premise and the challenges of this era of rapid automation. While some experts predict that AI could slash half of entry-level positions in fields like software development and administrative roles by 2030, there are also new opportunities arising in fintech, tech, and AI specialization. There's even a fascinating look into an AI-first podcast studio creating thousands of low-cost episodes. So they are generating, there's 450 different channels with unique personas, generating 550 pieces of podcast content a week. I don't know what value they're creating. If they do, apparently there's news podcasts, like not news, weather podcasts for a given city. A lot of crap, really, if you ask me. Like, why do you need a podcast to tell you the weather? Just look it up. They're able to do it at scale, and they're making money off it. Apparently, if you can make more than, I think it was $2 per episode, they're in profit. Like, it's a very, very low cost to generate and get this content out there. So we're just going to start getting bombarded by even more AI slop. In wrapping up this week's roundup, it's clear that AI and tech landscape is evolving on multiple fronts. Whether it's enabling secure financial transactions, revolutionizing software development with autonomous coding, tackling long-standing technical challenges, or even reshaping science and the labor market. We're witnessing a transformation unlike any before, and there's a lot to be excited about. But there's also plenty to ponder as we navigate these sweeping changes. Thanks for watching, and I can't wait to see these innovations take us. As usual, I'd love for any feedback in the comments below. Let me know what works, what doesn't work, how can I improve these video series. I am just reading an AI-generated script. I'm aware that this is probably boring, but it's a good way for me to solidify in my mind what I've listened to, what I've watched, and talk about it and provide a bit of an opinion. And it's mainly to share with the team. So if you've got any feedback, I'd love to hear it. Otherwise, good luck keeping up with everything.